Welcome to Studio 51, Loyola University Chicago's weekly news magazine. I'm Bernadette Hoffman.
And I'm Nader Issa. Our show is called Studio 51 because we're located in this beautiful water tower studio in the heart of Chicago on 51 East Pearson Street. It's been a fascinating week of reaction following our historical election. Our Newsbeat section follows Trump's transition to power, the reaction here in Chicago from our mayor, including a call for a Chicago sanctuary.
And soda pop is going to cost all of us more. We'll have the latest on that new tax. Meanwhile, our health reporter has the latest discoveries from some new research. Later, our foodie takes us on a culinary experience in Rogers Park and claims the food is scrumptious.
This week, our commentator Almudena Rincon gives her college viewpoint on another college, the Electoral College, and we'll want your feedback on her comments.
And oh my, those bears, no longer unbelievable, but unbearable. Sports in 51 Seconds talks about hibernation. But first, let's get this week's news roundup with Studio 51's Dylan Conover.
Thanks, Bernadette. The dramatic repercussions of Donald Trump's presidential election just won't let up. The president-elect made a major appearance with his family on 60 Minutes. In an interview with reporter Leslie Stahl, Trump softened his positions on immigration and Obamacare. Trump's campaign promise to deport up to 3 million undocumented immigrants has brought a good deal of fear and panic. But now, Trump says he only plans to deport those who have criminal records. Trump also says he will keep parts of Obamacare, including coverage of young adults on their families' plans up to age 26. He also will keep the clause that prohibits cancellation of a policy due to pre-existing conditions. In the meantime, the Trump transition team has announced 2 new appointments. The president-elect named Reince Priebus chief of staff. Priebus is the chair of the Republican National Committee and played an instrumental role in Trump's campaign. Trump also appointed Steve Bannon as his senior strategic counselor. During Trump's campaign, Bannon was his chief executive officer, so this decision may make sense to Trump, but to many others, it is a troubling appointment. Bannon was previously an executive for Breitbart News, which is a news outlet that many believe posts racist and anti-Semitic content. These 2 are the first of 16 positions Trump needs to fill before his inauguration on January 20th. Here in Chicago, there's some panic when it comes to immigration. Following the election, the president of Lurie Children's Hospital, Pat Magoon, claims that suicide and crisis hotlines have jumped more than 200%. Mayor Emanuel held a town hall meeting Monday attempting to be a voice of healing. He says Chicago will be a sanctuary city for any immigrants faced with deportation. Broadcasted on over 40 radio stations across Chicagoland, Emanuel also addressed violence, education, and city finances. Citing his 2015 U.S. Census Bureau report, the mayor said 6,000 people left Chicago in 2015, which was more than any other city in the country. The mayor says people are leaving the city due to poor economic and educational improvements and violence in poorer areas. If you live in Chicago, you may want to think twice before supersizing your next fast food order. Cook County supervisors have now passed that controversial soda tax. Experts say the new tax will cost consumers buying soft drinks as much as 68 cents for a 2-liter or 72 cents for a 12-pack. That tax includes fountain drinks, and the law goes into effect July 1st. And finally, holy cow, the Chicago Cubs have a new fan. The Archbishop of Chicago, Blaise Supich, is in Rome preparing for his appointment to Cardinal. This Saturday, Supich presented Pope Francis with a Cubs hat and baseball signed by the players. For a team that many deemed cursed for decades, a blessing from the Pope is the cherry on top to a sweet 2016 season. This has been your weekly news roundup. I'm Dylan Conover, and now we'll take a look at sports in 51 seconds with Hans Schmidt.
Thanks, Dylan. The Bears can kiss their playoff hopes goodbye with their loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 36-10. A tough Bears defense kept the score close at halftime, but were once again let down by quarterback Jay Cutler. Cutler finished with 2 fumbles and 2 interceptions, including a pick-6 in the first quarter. Are we sure his thumb is fully healed? Well, the Bears have many problems. Their aging quarterback, yes, Cutler is 33, is certainly on top of the list. This team needs to hit the reset button. Cutler's age, performance, and massive contract are only holding this franchise back. Make no mistake, Cutler was actually pretty good when he was in Denver. However, Cutler's 8 years at quarterback in Soldier Field can only be characterized as underwhelming or outright failure. It's time for Coach John Fox to send Jay on his way. Speaking of ugly, Cubs owner Tom Ricketts says he wants to reach out to infamous fan Steve Bartman now that the Cubs broke the Billy Goat curse. No word on whether Ricketts will reach out to Alex Gonzalez, the sure-handed shortstop who actually lost the Cubs the National League pennant in 2003. That's sports in 51 seconds. I'm Hans Schmidt. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Hans. Okay, no glory with the Bears, but we can still bask in the celebration of those Cubbies. Next up in health, our reporter Diamond Gant talks about beer, booze, and your health. Let's get the latest on those libations.
Thanks, Nader. Turns out that a can of beer can be good for your health after all. According to the American Heart Association, a recent study found that moderate alcohol consumption can slow the decline of good cholesterol levels. The team of researchers from Pennsylvania State also found that the decline of good cholesterol levels fell slower for the moderate drinkers consuming beer. The same is true for moderate and light drinkers consuming hard liquor. But drinking alcohol is not always good for your health. According to the Biomed Central Cancer Journal, there is a significant link between alcohol consumption and the risk of prostate cancer in men. Researchers say that even consuming 2 drinks a day proposes an 8 to 23% higher risk of prostate cancer when compared to not drinking at all. Is there a link between female cancers and prostate cancer? According to a different study led by the Seattle Cancer Care Alliance, men may be at a greater risk for developing advanced prostate cancer if women in their family have experienced female cancers like ovarian and breast cancer. The study showed that 12% of 700 men with advanced prostate cancer likely inherited those cancer risk genes from some females in their family background. Doctors are asking that families discuss the history of cancer with one another for the sake of early detection. That's all for this week's Health Beat Report. I'm Diamond Gant for Studio 51.
Thanks, Diamond. Well, we're now in the holiday season, and that means buying gifts and giving to charities. But how do you know if a charity is reputable? We'll sit down with Phoenix Assistant News Editor Julie Whitehair to discuss an upcoming article on charity in light of the holiday season. We'll be right back.
Life is full of distractions. Some are minor. Crash, look who it is. Others are more severe.
Hi, excuse me. Hi, excuse me.
If you wouldn't buy a gun from a little girl, why would you buy one from an unlicensed dealer? Help support National Universal Background Checks. Visit ICHV.org today.
Thanks for staying with us. During the holiday season, it's especially important to be thankful and give thanks to the community. Phoenix Assistant News Editor Julie Whitehair is here to tell us about an upcoming Phoenix article dealing with charities and their reliability.
Thank you, Julie. Thanks, Nader, and thank you, Julie, for taking time out of your busy day to join us. Can you tell us a little bit about this article you're working on?
Yes, so basically with the holidays coming up, there's so many charities out there. I'm looking at the different ways to evaluate them and make sure that people are choosing the right charities and that their money is going to the right causes.
Can you tell me a little bit about how you evaluate these charities?
Yes, so there's multiple ways you can do it. There's been a lot of focus on the monetary aspect of it, so sort of how much money is going towards fundraising and administrative compared to how much is actually going towards programming. But then again, there's also things like leadership, what they actually do with the money, the history and the reputation of the charity, and just trying to take a holistic approach to the analyzation of the charities.
Are there any websites or resources people can use to evaluate these charities?
There are. One good one is GuideStar. It is a nonprofit organization that looks at sort of the tax forms for nonprofits, and it summarizes sort of what they do and the data for that. There's also watchdog organizations. One I've been using is Charity Navigator, which uses a ranking system and ratings to show financials and sort of accountability and transparency. There's also Charity Watch, and there's give.org are some other good ones.
Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have, but you're looking a little hungry, Julie.
Oh, I am.
You're going to want to stay tuned for this next segment. Our foodie, Allison Klein, is here with a review of Pub 626, which is located near Loyola's Lakeshore campus. We're hungry for your thoughts, Allison.
Thanks, Bernadette. Over the weekend, I visited Pub 626, which is located right off the Morse Red Line stop. Their menu consists of incredibly tasty burgers, unique tacos, gourmet grilled cheeses, and some unusual but delicious sandwiches, such as the grilled Cuban and a beer-battered cod cheese melt. Their appetizers are also something to brag about. I had the nachos, which were covered with cheese, avocado, jalapenos, onions, and savory shredded pulled pork. Not only is the food great, but it has an authentic neighborhood feel. There's contemporary art on the walls, candles on the tables, Chicago sports playing on every TV, and a full bar. Not to mention they have outstanding service. Every weekday they have a drink deal under $5, and the appetizers are half off from 5 to 7 p.m. If you want to learn more about Pub 626 and their specials, you can follow them on Facebook. My friend and I ate nachos, a Cuban sandwich, and a chicken roasted taco for only $34. My roommate recommended this place to me, and it exceeded all of my expectations and left me satisfied and excited to go back. This has been this week's Foodie. I'm Allison Klein. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Allison. It's great hearing about new spots near campus, and we're looking forward to trying it out. And if you want us to try out any other restaurants, let us know on our Studio 51 Facebook page.
After the break, Studio 51's commentator voices her concerns with the electoral process, and we'll also find what to expect from Mother Nature for this weekend. Stay with us.
You're young. You're in college. We get it. You're gonna drink. But how much? Be smart. Think when you drink.
Welcome back. Much of the nation is still in shock with the results of this election and other controversies, such as polling, the effect of the WikiLeaks, and the fact that the person who won the popular vote is not the president-elect.
Studio 51's Almadena Recon is here with her commentary on the Electoral College.
Election day is over and America has made a decision. Or have they? Donald Trump is president-elect because he won the Electoral College, but Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton won the popular vote, the vote of the people, by over 1 million votes. Why does the electoral vote matter more than the popular vote? Because in the Constitutional Convention of 1787, the leaders of the country wanted a fair way to elect a president. So, instead of letting Congress or the people choose the president, they decided they needed someone in between. That's how they came up with the electors. They are chosen in each state political convention. Their job is to vote for a political candidate in the election. In every state except for Maine and Nebraska, the candidate who wins the most popular votes in the state receives all the state's electoral votes. But there have been some exceptions throughout our country's history. Back in 2000, Al Gore lost to former President George Bush, and it happened again this year. Although Clinton won the popular vote by over 1 million votes, Trump won 306 electoral votes, while Clinton won 232. And in the early hours of November 9th, Trump was made president-elect. Most recently, he called the Electoral College genius, but in 2012, he called it a disaster and a phony. Which one is it? It seems the only reason he changed his mind is because he won. Individual votes don't matter when they are weighed down by the Electoral College. Should there be a change? I think so. If people in each state don't have electors to choose their governor, then they shouldn't have electors choose their president. Not only would voter turnout be higher, but individual votes would make a difference, and the statement "your vote matters" would be true. For Studio 51 commentary, I'm Almadena Rincon.
Thanks, Almadena. This weekend is the beautiful annual Magnificent Mile Lights Festival. But will the weather cooperate with our viewers? Our weather forecaster, Nick Colson, is here to tell us what to expect.
Thank you so much, Julie. You're going to want to make sure you enjoy that fall weather while you still can. It's going to be gone before we know it. Looking at today's weather, it's going to be mostly sunny with a high of 70, low of 57. Moving in tomorrow, we're going to see some clouds rolling through with a small chance of precipitation. Highs reaching 62 with a low of 36. If you're going to be one of the 500,000 people expected to be downtown on Saturday for the 25th anniversary of the Magnificent Mile Lights Festival, you're going to want to make sure you have a jacket with you, as highs are only expected to reach 42 with a low of 29. Then finally, looking into Sunday, we're not going to see too much change from the day prior, as highs will be 40, low of 29 as well. For your weather, I'm Nick Colson. Back to you guys at the desk.
I just love the Wet Lights Fest. It's one of my favorite traditions of the seasons, so I'll be there regardless of the weather. How about you, Nader?
Obviously, I'm going to be there. I can't miss Mickey Mouse. This is our last show before the Thanksgiving break, and Studio 51 is thankful for your viewership. We want to hear from you. Let us know what you think by tweeting us at Studio 51 News. I'm Nader Issa.
And I'm Bernadette Hoffman. On behalf of everyone here at Studio 51, we wish you a very happy and safe Thanksgiving.